Let's talk about the spring game and the format for all of that. How's that going to work?
Well, for the first time in 4 years, we have enough players to have a player draft. So we have these two outstanding honorary coaches. Okay, we're going to have Jack and John be the head coaches, and that'll really the winning team will probably be the team that's best led by their honorary head coach. So it'll be
no pressure there, obviously.
So, but we're going to have a player draft. We're going to have that draft tomorrow. So it's going to be an orange versus white, and we'll be able to play it like a true game. So we're excited to finally have the numbers to be able to do that.
With these numbers, does that change what you hope to accomplish in a spring game as opposed to other years, Coach?
Well, I think the last few springs, our numbers have been 50s, 60s, maybe 70s, and now we have 90. So we've been able to get so much more work in the scrimmages. We've been able to run more plays. We've had 3 full groups. So now I think the spring game, instead of it really being like the third scrimmage, is more of an opportunity to cut it loose and let them play it like a true game. So I think there'll be a huge benefit that we'll get out of the way more and we'll let them play it like a game, and they'll get great experience doing that.
We talk a little bit about, as you're kind of coming to the close with the spring practices, will you talk a little bit about the intensity? I mean, have you seen good intensity, good tempo out there?
Yeah, it's the best spring we've had. In terms of the tempo of the practice, even the scrimmages, there's more clean plays. It's better football. So I like our football team. I think we've made strides this spring. You have to make strides every spring, but I think we came into this spring starting at a different level than we ever have before. The first year we were installing a new system. We had a very good team, but everything was brand new in terms of terminology and systems. And then the year after that we were replacing so many starters, and last year we had so many freshmen. So it's an experienced group. I think we started at a better level than we've started, and I think we've improved as the spring has gone along. I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, though. We're not close to being where we need to be, but that's always the case.
When you say that, though, it's also not like you have a game imminent in a week or so. I mean, how do you feel the progress has been for this spring?
Well, I think when you return as many players as we have, I think the expectations are higher. Our expectation of how a practice is run, our expectation of the execution level is much higher than it's ever been. So I think there's a different standard. There needs to be.
Will you talk a little bit about what you've seen when you talked about position versus position on Saturday? If you would look at kind of the offensive line versus the defensive line over the course of the spring, what have you seen there from those two units?
Well, I think I think the defensive line has had a little bit of an edge, but they should. I mean, Chris Jones is going to be his 4th year as a starter. Jarris Campbell is a 3rd-year player. Ted Allette's a 3rd-year player. We're breaking in a new tackle with Fawn Cooper. Jordan Russos is going from tackle to guard. Kyle Bryant's going from left tackle to right tackle. So there's been a little bit more juggling on the O-line, but I think that group is starting to gel. But we're a little bit ahead, and I wouldn't say a lot ahead. I think Saturday was one of those examples that, on first impression, they really outplayed the O-line. When we went and watched the film, I don't know if the D-line outplayed the O-line throughout the scrimmage, but they outplayed them in critical situations, 3rd down, short yardage. And the same thing on the perimeter. And red zone plays on 3rd downs. I think the corners really stepped up and made plays against the receivers. But the scrimmage was much more balanced than it first appeared when we went back and watched the tape.
Is that you mentioned situations where the defense kind of stood up and you're talking about big situations. That's that kind of a function of the experience. They know, hey, this is a big situation. We need to make a play.
Well, every down and every play in a football game is critical, but there's certain plays that, football's a game of situations, and whether it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, conversion downs, the defense gets a stop. They just put an end to a drive. We get the ball back. The offense converts it. They stay on the field. We got a chance to score points, and we keep the defense rested. And those are the type of situations that we have to get better at. I think our red zone offense, our red zone defense, those are things that if you make that stop, you get off the field, you didn't give up points. If you make that play, it's 6 points on the board. In so many games here the last 2 years, it's been one score could have decided the outcome of the game. And so we've put great emphasis on the defense. You make that play, you're off the field, we win. Offensively, you make that play, you score, you win. And you look at this league and this conference, how many games are one-score games? And every possession matters. And a lot of those possessions boil down to that last play. You know, you're in the tight red zone, it's 3rd and goal, and you're on the 5-yard line. Defense finds a way to get off the field, that's a game-winning play. Offense finds a way to score, they win. I mean, look at last year. You know, Temple, we make that play, Sean Joplin makes a catch, and it's a big win. You know, Kent, we get down to the red zone a handful of times, we don't score touchdowns, and we end up losing the game.
And you're seeing, I'm sorry, Dave, you're seeing kids get that now because of the experience.
The urgency of the play, the urgency of winning your matchup. You know, the defense is going to pressure, and you know, the X has to beat the corner, and the corner has to cover the X. And if everybody else does their job, it's going to come down to who wins that matchup, who wins the play, who wins the series, who wins the drive, and ultimately who wins the game.
When this all started, you talked about the team developing good habits. Is that kind of what you're talking about? And have those habits been developed in your mind during this spring?
Yeah, I mean, and you can't relax on them. Like I thought last Thursday on defense, we tackled poorly. You know, that I thought we took a step backwards. And we addressed it. And one of the most encouraging things from Saturday's scrimmage, we tackled well. Guys were physical. We wrapped up. We did the things we needed to do. I thought that happened again today. And, you know, spring practice, camp, the whole purpose is to develop good habits. Because if you get into the 4th quarter of a game and you've played 62, 68 plays and you're tired, whatever your habit is, whether it's good or bad, that's what's going to show up. And that's what we're trying to create on offense in terms of ball security. You know, as much as we wanted to score more on offense on Saturday, it's very encouraging to me we didn't turn the football over. If that can become our habit, we're going to win a lot of games. You know, on defense, we gave up plays, but we found ways on 3rd downs and in critical situations to get off the field. If we can have that type of focus of knowing the down and distance, knowing the situation, knowing what to expect, knowing where the sticks are, if we establish that habit, we're going to become a better football team. And I think that is the big difference of playing a bunch of freshmen and sophomores and now playing guys that have played a year, that they're able to take it to that next level, that they know not only what the call is, but they know what the situation is.
Yes, sir.
I'm good.